welcome to the Coach Bryan Moore Show. I'm Margaret Ann Praytor alongside Coach Bryan Moore. And please watch us on this weekly broadcast. We're going to release this every Wednesday. You can catch us on YouTube, on Facebook, and of course on the NFHS network. First, we want to thank all our sponsors: Eddie Pruitt Ford, Bentley's at the Outhouse, Life Church, and Quorum's Building and Farm Center. Coach, let's start off with a good question here. First shutout Friday night, 50-0. How does that feel?
It feels good. I mean, it was a good win. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to come out and win. That thing got out of hand quickly. When you looked up and when you score on special teams and defense, it happens quick. But I was proud of the kids. They stayed locked in. Last week was our best week mentally of practice, and we just stayed in it. And last 10 quarters of football has been really good around here. So I'm hoping. I think the last 10 quarters, including the second half of Coleman, it's like 116-17 is the score. And so we're kind of getting going right now.
Well, and the score looks great. I'm going to go in a different direction here. But that first quarter, it wasn't pretty. And rumor had it, the clipboard went flying.
It's because, it was all us, offensively. And, it was JT's first start.
Right.
And it's not really on him, but just there were a lot of moving pieces. And, I think, early, part of that too is me. I've got to take a little bit of it because it was so different defensively as far as how they were lining up that we ran into some negative plays, as you saw, and those were my fault 100%. And later in the second quarter, we just got in there and started running over them, and running inside zone, and found some things even in our passing game that were easy. We were just trying to do a little bit too much. We were trying to spread the ball around, and we've got some guys that we feel like need touches, and so I was really focused on that. And then after the first quarter, I said, "Heck with that, man. We're just gonna do what we do and line up, run the ball," and it got a lot better quickly.
Well, and I was going to ask about JT Blackwood. What did you think of his performance, his first start?
Yeah, I thought he was good. I mean, there were a couple throws that, specifically one to Rye out in the flats. He threw it low, and he missed Rye on another one that was a check down, probably would have gone for a touchdown. No, but he settled in fine and hit some big throws. We didn't ask a lot. I knew we came out and threw the ball a little bit early because we knew if we got ahead, I wouldn't want to embarrass them, and we wanted to run the ball later in the game. And we were a little off to start with, but it got a lot better. We had 3 drops, which were a little bit disappointing, and we got to keep working and clean that up.
Right. I'm going to skip my running game question, then go to those drops. Do you think it was nerves, or because they were in the open field, or could they see themselves scoring, or because if you caught it, you had a pretty good shot?
Yeah, I think it's pressing a little bit, and both the guys were dropped for 10th graders too, so we're still. We don't magically grow up, and we're still fighting some growing pains, and every week's going to be that. It's sort of a new challenge. Right. With a young team, we're trying to be proactive and get in front of those challenges, but it's hard, and but we just got to keep working and work through it.
Well, Coach, I know said you got to put those guys in the best position that they can be in to win.
Yep.
And he said, and that's what we're doing.
That's right.
So,
no question.
Run game, 266 yards, but the competition wasn't as strong as some of our previous opponents. What do you see we still need to work on there?
Especially with our second group. I thought for the most part, our first group covered up the guys they were supposed to. We're getting movement now, and we didn't really get that early in the season. So what you're seeing is the runs, Mookie had some runs and Rye too, some dynamic runs, explosive runs, where they had some good rollbacks on inside zone because the line of scrimmage moving forward. With our second group, I probably did a little too much with them. We flip our tackles around a little bit and try and get 2 tackles together so we can kind of roll people out of there. And we had some busts. And fortunately, tonight we're playing Hoover and JV, and so we'll go right back to it. I mean, they'll be really good with that same group of linemen, and I'm going to fix some of those things as far as flipping those guys around and probably keep them more in one spot because we did have some busts. So actually, like 4 plays in a row, we busted and had a leak and a run through, and we just got to get that corrected.
Learning opportunity.
For sure.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
Hey football fans, we are so excited to have another year of Hartselle football underway. 2020 season, expecting a great year, and we're so excited about Coach Bryan Moore and his family being here. Coach Moore's a great coach, and he's going to lead us to great things right here in Hartselle, but not only this year, but for years to come. Go Tigers!
And here we are with our Eddie Pruitt Forward Player of the Week. We've got Crawford Lang with us here today. Crawford, I'm going to ask a pointed question first. The usual stereotype is that kickers are different. So what makes you like the other football players?
Well, like when I'm in the weight room, I like lifting a lot like everybody else, so I sort of fit in. Usually people think kickers are weak. I'm not like all of the rest of them, so I like working out. Workout's fun, and then game days, usually kickers are like separated, but I like hanging out with everybody else.
That's pretty cool. Do you work on your kicking year-round, or is this just seasonal? Like, do you just work on it football season?
It's a year-round thing, so like I stay consistent, and so when football season comes, I'll already be ready for the season, but it's good to practice all year round.
Okay. I love, those of us who love to watch football, we like to talk about icing the kicker. And you can tell whenever that happens, the announcers get excited. They do. So how are you going to avoid that? I watched the Athens and Muscle Shoals game, and I believe they called 3 timeouts to try to ice that kicker. And they ended up making it, and Muscle Shoals won when the clock expired. But so what do you do to avoid that?
Well, I'll set up, and then when they ice me, I'll walk over to the sideline with the rest of the team, and Coach will tell us to go back out, and then I'll reset like it's the first kick, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. All right, everybody loves game day. What's your favorite part of practice? I've asked everybody this.
Practice, well, special teams, but the main part of special teams is probably kickoff, because we all just run down and then we just have fun.
That'd be great. All right, now what do you plan on doing after high school?
Well, my dream is to go to Auburn, because that's where my whole family's gone, and then their program, football is really good, and then I met their kicker, he's really nice. So that'd be my dream to go there.
Well, that'd be great. Well, I wish you the best, and thanks so much for taking time out of Miss Wilson's class to come down here 5 minutes, talk to us. We're going to send you right back to class. But thanks, and good luck next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, and we're back. Margaret Ann Praytor here alongside Coach Bryan Moore. Coach, let's transfer over to the defense. Offense put up 50 points, but the defense had a shutout and they had 3 picks.
Yeah, I thought they played well. I thought, we challenged all of our defensive linemen last week, and those 3 guys really responded. Frankly, I'm not sure that we'll ever have 3 better than we have right now in Seth and EJ and Kelvin. I mean, they're just really special. And the great thing about them is there's so much more in there. And that's why I keep talking about it, is that, again, it's our job to push and find that potential that they don't understand that's in there. And Coach Bray does that. I got to brag on him. Coach Bray has been so used to playing that 180-pound kid, and now he's got these 260-pound dudes in there that he's still coaching them the same way. And that's all you can ask. Coach your great ones the same way you do the rest of them, and just see what happens. And he does such a good job of that and manages those guys so well. But I thought overall defensively, the group that we don't talk a lot about is our linebackers. They're so young, and they're learning so much, and it's such a crucial part of Stack. I mean, Stack is Stack because of the 3 Stack linebackers, and right now we're the least experienced that they've ever been here, ever, and it's not even close. And we are finding those guys, and they're growing up. And, we even played Mookie in there at linebacker some, and moved Osteen over to Stack, which is where he's really most comfortable. And so we're moving those guys around, and they're really starting to come on. Coach Rogers has done a great job with them. And so they're really learning and growing. And then, of course, obviously the back end has played extremely well. And with those young outside linebackers, with Peyton and with Jake England and with Jacaleb Goodwin, they have really come on and played a lot better. So I've been proud of our defense as a whole.
Well, and I was going to ask that. I was looking at Columbia's. They had 66 yards of offense, 14 yards rushing. Whoever hears of that?
Yeah.
And, did they ever even cross midfield?
I think they had one drive that was decent against our second group, but again, we did what we were supposed to do. I think at halftime I was coming off the field and Russell Fry was there from the Hartselle Inquirer, and he said, y'all have 250 yards of offense and they have minus 20. And I said, well, that's the way this game was supposed to look. And I was just proud of the kids being locked in, because I was on them on Friday pretty good, because I just didn't want them. We're not in a position, and you really never are, but especially with our young team, where we can just say, we're fine, we'll show up and win. We can't do that. And the kids showed up and played hard, and I thought we're really locked in.
Well, and you just talked about Kelvin, because the statement I have here is we may need to talk to him again soon. And maybe, you need to keep on challenging, because he had 9 tackles, 3 of them were for a loss, and he had a sack. So, I mean, he kind of showed up. We could have called him back up here this week, too, to be the player of the game.
Well, and those guys didn't play a lot. You're talking about that's like out of 23 snaps. They didn't play much. And I thought our coaches did a great job. Also, I wanted to mention of getting guys in the game. Again, it's not our intentions to embarrass people.
Right.
And so we decided to run the clock in the second half, because those kids from Columbia are disadvantaged because of their numbers.
Exactly.
But they're out there fighting, and they're doing everything they can to be successful. They're not laying down, they're not quitting, they're playing, for their school. And you just don't embarrass people like that. You never do. And so we played a bunch of young kids in the second half. We didn't play one starter in the second half at all. And I was really proud to get every kid in. The only group we didn't get in was our 9th grade offense, because we only had 2 possessions in the second half, and they were really ready to run out there, but then the clock went out because it's a running clock. But anyway, I was proud of our coaches and appreciate them getting those kids in.
Well, and I don't want to forget our 3 guys who had interceptions: Snelson, Osteen, and Steele.
Yep.
I mean, they really showed out. And, Peyton Steele, though, how long have we lost him?
It'll be a few weeks. That was disappointing, because, gosh, he's playing good right now. And I'm just so proud of the way that he's grown up. I mean, he and Jacaleb Goodwin are really special 9th graders. One we don't mention a lot is Colton Stinson, that's starting every rep, playing every rep for our varsity on the offensive line. So, we've really played a lot of young kids, and they're responding.
That's great. They're doing well. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
I'm Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue, and I'm here to tell you about the Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience. The versatility of the Big Green Egg is unmatched. It delivers big results as a grill, a smoker, and even an outdoor oven. Grill burgers, kebabs, steaks at 800 degrees, slow smoke a perfect slab of ribs, and even bake a crispy pizza. When the doctor cooks, I demand the best, and that's why I cook on the Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience.
Hey Hartselle, I'm Emily Balster, and this is what's happening at Hartselle High School. This past week was homecoming. Though different from the past, the week still included many exciting events. Sticking to tradition, students had dress-up themes for each day of the week. Monday was Pajama Day, Tuesday was Generation Day, then there was Wacky Wednesday, and Friday was Homecoming Shirt Day. Each grade also created a homecoming float design on trifolds. The floats were displayed in front of the library on Friday. The freshman float featured their football players and the field, and the tiger's arm moved. The sophomores showcased a tiger and an eagle fighting, the tiger obviously winning. The juniors' first place float was a detailed Tigerland filled with roller coasters and a Ferris wheel. The seniors displayed J.P. Kane filled with members of the class. Leading up to the week, each grade filmed a homecoming video. Each grade's video was unique and showcased many students. The videos were posted to Facebook and gained hundreds of likes. You can watch all of them on the Hartselle High School Facebook page. The 2 categories to gain points for this competition were the amount of likes and a rubric based on creativity and video content. The juniors won with the most likes, and the freshmen won based on the rubric. All clubs in the school nominated a senior boy as their homecoming team nominee. These nominees and clubs created buckets to raise money, as well as hosted fundraisers throughout the week. By Friday, the nominees had raised over $10,000. On Friday, the 2020 Homecoming King was named.
And then the overall 2020 Homecoming King is, with over $3,000 raised, Mason Sutherland. Congratulations to you all. Congratulations, Mason.
To end off the week, Friday night was the homecoming game. The Hartselle crowd was packed. Hartselle beat Columbia 56-0. During halftime, as the band played, Mr. Bragwell introduced the 2020 homecoming court who had been selected at the beginning of the week.
Assisting with the crowning of our homecoming queen will be Hartselle High School homecoming king, Mr. Mason Sutherland.
And then I was honored to be chosen as the 2020 homecoming queen. What a week it was. Even though it wasn't normal, it was definitely something that we will always remember. There were so many things that we were able to still do to make it seem like a homecoming week, and that's what made it great. We've learned that not everything's going to be the way it has always been, but as long as we have fun and we make the best out of these situations, it can still be an amazing year. I'm Millie Boster, and that's what's happening at Hartselle High School.
All right, and we're back with the Coach Bryan Moore Show. Margaret Ann Praytor alongside Coach Bryan Moore. We just talked about Peyton Steele and his injury in the last segment. So to follow up on that, I heard one of the comments on the sideline was, Coach, we can't even celebrate without getting hurt. Do you think having a young team is going to help you by having a lot of these reserves? I mean, but that was a freshman that was starting.
Yeah, and has been the whole time. I hate it for him the most. Because obviously he just jumped and chest bumped a guy like they do every time something good happens. It's happened 1,000 times so far this season. And he comes down and looked terrible on the NFHS network. I watched it because our clip was cut off and he's coming off side. It looked awful. And he'll be out. We expect him back this year. So it's not it's going to be a few weeks before we have him back, and we'll make sure that he's completely healthy first. But it's just one of those years, man. 2020 is just nuts.
I'm ready for it to be over. We got 100 days left. Somebody posted that we have 100 days left, and I cannot wait. Let's talk about special teams. Crawford Lang was our player of the game. He's a rarity in high school football. You've got he's money on kickoffs. You have lots of touchbacks. He nailed a 47 and 28-yard field goal. The 47, though, it could almost gone from 50. He didn't even have to punt, but he's something special.
And he didn't hit the thing well on the field goal either, which is crazy. Because right when he hit it, I said it's fat, because it's a golf term when you don't hit the ball well. I said he didn't strike it well, and it still went in from 48. I'm like, wow, okay. But yeah, he actually got sore in the game. We kicked off a bunch of times in the first half, and he kicked 2 long field goals, made them both, and he got a little bit sore. But what a great experience for him, because he's still just a 10th grader. We have to keep that in mind. I still run him out for JV games and let him kick because of confidence. Right. And he made a 46-yarder against Decatur Monday night. So he's really played well. But the same thing I do with those defensive linemen, I think with those great ones, again, you got to keep pushing them. And with Crawford, there's still so much in there. Like, for example, he kicked off, and he kicked, I think 5 of them were touchbacks, but 3 that weren't touchbacks. 2 were good returns from them because he didn't place the ball like we want him to. It's like playing golf and being a long drive guy. It was great to hit the ball forever, but if you hit the ball forever into the woods, it's not so great. Right. And it's the same thing. You still can't miss. Even if you're hitting it well, you either got to kick that thing through the end zone or you got to put it where I tell you to put it. Because the way we're set up, if he doesn't, it's going to be a big return. Okay. And same thing with punts. And so he's really got to continue to do that. And there's just a lot more potential in there for Crawford. But he is a great kid, and he is a great worker, hard worker. Just like you mentioned on his segment, he is one of the players. He could start at another position for us. He's that athletic. He's a 4'8", 40 guy that squats 350 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, he's a good athlete but we can't afford to because he's such a great kicker.
Well, and I've had some, I don't know how much college football has changed, but I had a lot of friends that were quarterbacks and linebackers and things like that went on to kick in college because of their athletic ability.
Right, exactly.
They played multiple positions. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
Hey, welcome to Billy's.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
And we're back with the Coach Bryan Moore Show. Coach, motivation shouldn't be an issue these next 3 weeks. It's like mid-October, early November in the SEC West. You know what I'm talking about. You got 3 tough contests. You got Russellville, Athens, and then those are away. And then you get to come home to Muscle Shoals? I guess you could call this a gauntlet.
It's the stretch, no doubt. And we knew it because I knew what type of team Russell was going to have coming back, playing them the past 2 years. And they're right now where we will be in 2 years. All those kids played as 10th graders, and now they're all seniors. 10 of 11 on defense are seniors. And, experience shows up, guys. I mean, in big games, it's a challenge, and they're very multiple. They're really, really well coached on both sides of the ball. You have to beat Russellville. They don't beat themselves. They're not going to turn it over. We're not going to have 3 picks. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be a fight. They're really good in the box. They're front, both sides of the ball. They got a Kansas commit on the offensive line. I mean, they got a good football team.
Well, that was one of the things I looked at. They're 4-0, but now they really hadn't played a lot of people. They played Brewer, Decatur, Lawrence County, and there was somebody else. I'm having a blonde moment. But 18 points on them, scored all season. And that was by Lawrence County last week. So, if there's a good point to look at.
Yeah, I mean, the other game was May Jemison. They beat them 41-0. And so, defensively, it's just they're so multiple. And they just bring so much pressure. You're going to see typically 5 rushers on every play coming from every angle. And with luckily this is not game 1. See, Decatur, played them in game 1, and it was ugly. It was ugly. I mean, they had a hard time. Decatur since has gotten tremendously better. They really are, and have settled in. But it would have been extremely difficult for us in game 1. It's still going to be tough in game 6, but now we at least have some experience. And so that and I believe in our staff, to handle that stuff and to get them coached up. And I challenge those offensive line guys. I mean, really, because that's where it's at. If we get them covered up and we know where they're coming from, we're okay. I mean, again, they're really good. Don't get me wrong, but the biggest thing is not cutting guys loose. But as you mentioned, this is the stretch right here. We got to take it one at a time, as such coach speak, but it's true. We got to focus on the game here and now, and not let our minds wander to anything else. Because, but when you cut them on, it's not a problem, because the film is their resume, and it gets your attention.
Exactly. And this is your first true away game. I know you went to Decatur. But that's just
it's close.
20 minutes down the road.
And our kids are used to going there, and
right.
It's no problem going there.
So tell us a little bit, you and I talked during the break, wow, this is different. So explain to the people at home, if you don't mind, some of the things that you're running into, what's changing about going on an away trip with 120 football players. What's different? Well,
I tell you this, I made the comment years ago when I became a head coach that the last real coaching I did was as a coordinator, because being a head coach makes you do all these extra things, right? So the logistics of moving a fleet, to another school, or, doing things like that is really, really, difficult to do. So, and then in the COVID era. So normally what we would do is we would jump on a school bus, 2 buses or 3. We would move our trainers, filmers, managers, all our football players, our coaches, the equipment, everything, and we'd go to eat, probably Grill 43 to plug Russellville's. They got a good restaurant there. We'd probably go there and eat, and we'd get there and walk the field and do those things that we do and stretch and everything. But this year, we can't ride seat to seat because of the social distancing. So we had to charter extra buses to put 1 per seat to have the 6-foot social distancing. So it's going to cost us an arm and a leg to move them. We can't eat at a restaurant because they're at half capacity. So we've got to eat on the bus on the way. We can't eat in Russellville's cafeteria because outsiders can't go in the cafeteria. So it's just all these things that have added to the year. And with that, I tell you this, I am very rigid and a routine person. I'm extremely routine. And this has made me not that way, which you do. And it's been really good, but, from personnel to, the expectation that players may be out and you got to get more kids ready to play, and the expectation that a coach may be out. Who's the backup? Where's plan B? How do we move kids socially distancing, and just all these things, these different dynamics. But it's been a good year, and I know that it was a weakness of mine, the flexibility part, but I can't control those things, so it's been very helpful for me and our staff in that we've had to figure it out. Just got to figure it out, because football goes on and the expectations don't change, and fall still got here regardless of spring not being here. And but it's quite an interesting deal, Friday, to move all these people in a COVID time.
Well, as a fellow control freak, I totally get it. Let's wrap this up. I'd like to get an injury report.
Yeah.
How's Parker?
Good, he's going.
Okay, he's ready to go?
Everybody but Peyton will go. And so we feel good about that. We need Parker and his experience.
All right, and I've got our Eddie PREUITT fan question of the week. At mid-season, is the team where you hope they would be? And what are your expectations for the second half?
You know, I think with the type of offseason that we had, or lack of, I almost didn't have any expectations. I hate to say that, and I don't want to be negative because I always have expectations of a team. My point is, you just didn't know what tomorrow was going to bring, you know? And so I'm proud of the kids. I'm proud of their fight. I'm proud of their toughness. I'm proud of our staff. Again, that flexibility, that continuity that we needed, that we're getting. We are where we need to be at this point based on the circumstances we've had. But we got to get going now because, again, if we don't play well, we'll lose down the stretch. And I told the kids, we're right where we need to be. We just got to continue to grow every week, improve, including our ninth graders that are playing tonight and our JV guys that are playing. We need to play well. We've got 3 ninth grade games, 3 JV games, 5 varsity games. I put them all on the board yesterday at our Sunday meeting and said, look, I'm not looking ahead, but I need you to see what's coming. I need you to understand we have 1 month of football almost to the day. Think about that. 1 month left, that's it, that we're guaranteed. And we've got to make the most of it. I said we got to prioritize. Football's got to be important to us. Every day we got to show up and grind and get better, be locked in, be consistent, be tough. When we don't feel good, or our ankle hurts, or my back hurts a little bit, I still got to come and work. And we got to push together. And then ultimately, last thing, most important thing, is we got to continue to grow as a team. And we got to love each other and care about each other. And if we do that, then we'll have a great back 5 games.
Well, I thank you for your time this week, Coach, and I look forward to talking to you next week, hopefully after a big win at Russellville. You've been watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show. This is Margaret Ann Praytor, and this is This Week in Hartselle Athletics. On Thursday, September 24th, varsity volleyball is going to host Coleman here at the high school, and 7th and 8th grade football will host Decatur at J.P. Kane. Friday, September 25th, we're traveling everywhere. Volleyball is going to travel to Spain Park to participate in the Hef Strong Tournament. That's Hef Strong Tournament, not making that up. And football is going to travel to Russellville. Saturday, September 26th, HJHS volleyball is going to travel to Athens for a tournament. JV volleyball is going to travel to Pelham. And once again, varsity volleyball is at Spain Park. On Monday, September 28th, 9th grade football is going to host Buckhorn, and then JV is going to host Hazel Green. Same night, J.P. Kane Stadium. And then Tuesday, September 29th, HJHS is going to host the county volleyball tournament here at the high school, and JV and varsity volleyball are going to travel to Muscle Shoals. Go out and support all your Hartselle High School athletes.
Hey football fans, we are so excited to have another year of Hartselle football underway. 2020 season is expecting a great year, and we're so excited about Coach Bryan Moore and his family being here. Coach Moore's a great coach, and he's going to lead us to great things right here in Hartselle, but not only this year, but for years to come. Go Tigers!